My cherished soul, something in the unseen has shifted around you. Something so extraordinary, so rare, so divinely timed that even the angels stood still when it happened. And Archangel Michael has pressed this message into your spirit with a weight you can almost feel in your chest. Listen closely, because what I'm about to reveal is not ordinary, not random, and definitely not a coincidence. On December 6th, a heavenly decree was released with your name sealed upon it. A decree of massive financial release, a breakthrough of such magnitude that the spiritual realm trembled. This wasn't a small blessing, not a gentle encouragement, not a symbolic gesture. This was $1 million destiny shift, a life-altering abundance that was supposed to touch your hands, your home, and your future. Archangel Michael shows me the moment it happened. A scroll of golden light opened in the court of provision, stamped with the mark of divine approval. Heaven said, "Why, yes." Heaven said, "Now." Heaven said, "Release it to them." But the moment this blessing began traveling toward your life, something dark moved in the shadows. A spiritual thief, a watcher of your destiny, a force that has been monitoring your steps, waiting for the very moment heaven sends something big, something transformative, something dangerous to darkness. This thief reached out to intercept the blessing meant for you. Not because you did something wrong, but because the size of this blessing threatened every chain the enemy ever placed on your life. This wasn't an attack on your finance, it was an attack on your freedom. It was an attempt to steal what heaven declared as yours before it touched your hands. Archangel Michael's sword flashed, striking the spirit that tried to hijack your blessing. And he is saying right now, you must open your spirit to this message quickly, for delay empowers the thief. He is revealing the reason you've been feeling sudden pressure, unusual resistance, unexpected blocks, strange heaviness, or disruptions in your sleep. These were not random. These were signs, warnings, that something valuable was on its way to you, and something dark tried to intercept it. But here's the part that shakes the atmosphere even though the thief attempted to seize it. The blessing is not lost. It is hovering close to your life, waiting for your spiritual alignment to pull it fully into your hands. It is yours, legally, spiritually, prophetically. But heaven needs your awareness to unlock what was attempted against you. Archangel Michael is standing guard over your release right now. I hear him say, "What was stolen must be returned sevenfold. What was delayed must now be accelerated." There is a reason you were guided to this message at this moment, not earlier, not later. A divine urgency is surrounding your life because the thief moved quickly, and now heaven is moving faster. You may have felt financial attacks recently, moments where money slipped away, unexpected expenses arose, or promised opportunities disappeared without explanation. This was the residue of that attempted interception. But now that the truth is being exposed, Michael is reversing the spiritual transaction and repositioning your blessing above your life. The next few minutes of this message will determine how fast this blessing lands into your reality. Michael is preparing to reveal the exact block that was used, the energy that tried to drain your abundance, and why December 6th was chosen as the day your release was approved. But before I move deeper, let this settle in your spirit. You are not imagining the shift around you. You are not imagining the warfare. You are not imagining the sensation that something big is coming. Because something big is coming. Something heaven sent, heaven protected, and heaven declared. And as you hear these words, Michael's presence strengthens around you. His wings form a barrier of fire, sealing every financial gate connected to your name. He is restoring what was touched, reclaiming what was targeted, and preparing you to receive what was written for you before you were even born. Hold on, because what Michael is about to reveal next is going to make everything suddenly make sense. The delays, the setbacks, the strange timing, the sudden hardships, and why this blessing is unlike any blessing you've ever received before. This is where the message deepens. This is where the truth sharpens. And this is where your breakthrough begins to breathe. Before you move forward, anchor your spirit, because the next revelation is the turning point you've been waiting for. Type "I claim my release" in the comments if your spirit is sensing this truth. Blessing code 144 is being activated over your finances. And before you continue, hold your heart steady. The next words will open a door you didn't know was locked. Beloved one, a stillness is moving around you now, almost as if the air itself is listening. Archangel Michael is drawing you deeper, because what happened after December 6th is something heaven does not want hidden any longer. The moment your financial release was approved, a ripple surged through the spiritual atmosphere. And every force that ever hoped you would remain small, limited, and powerless felt the tremor of your elevation. Michael shows me a scene in the spiritual realm, a courtroom filled with radiant light. Your name was spoken, not as a whisper, but as a decree echoing with authority. A divine ledger opened, and inside it showed a record of everything you have endured, everything you survived, and everything the enemy tried to destroy in your life. Heaven reviewed the weight of your tears, the depth of your battles, the purity of your intentions, and the resilience of your spirit. That is why the blessing released to you was not an accident. It was compensation. It was restoration. It was fulfillment of a promise that has followed your bloodline for generations. But the moment heaven moves on your behalf, darkness attempts to counterfeit. This is when the spiritual thief positioned itself. This thief is not a creature lurking in shadows. It is a pattern, a cycle, a controlling energy that has tried to limit you for years. For some people it appears as sudden financial drain. For others it appears as opportunities that collapse at the last second. For you, it appeared as a strange block between you and every major breakthrough you have ever been close to. Archangel Michael reveals that this thief studied your life. It observed every time new doors began to open. It watched your spirit grow brighter. It watched your prayers sharpen. And as soon as the $1 million release was approved, the thief attempted a final interception. This interception did not come as an attack you could see. It arrived disguised as doubt, distraction, emotional heaviness, or unexpected conflict. The thief tried to drain your focus so that you would not recognize the shift happening in your favor. But Michael is saying that this time is different. The attempt was seen. The interference was caught. And heaven has issued a second decree. What was delayed must now be delivered with interest. Your blessing has not disappeared. It is hovering above your life like a sealed package awaiting signature. The only thing needed now is alignment, awareness, and acceptance. This message is part of that alignment. You may have noticed that in the days after December 6th, your mind felt unusually burdened. You may have questioned your progress or felt sudden confusion. You may have sensed something trying to pull you backward. These were symptoms of the interception attempt. The enemy cannot touch what heaven ordains, but it can try to distort your perception of it. It can try to make you ignore your blessing, walk away from your promise, or doubt the very thing that is meant for you. That is why Michael has come forward now. His presence is not gentle in this moment. It is fierce, protective, and purposeful. He is holding the stolen portion in one hand and the restored portion in the other. He is asking you to open your spirit because he is preparing to place the restored blessing back into your timeline. But this time, it comes with spiritual insulation, divine fire, and angelic reinforcement. $1 million blessing is not simply money. It is a destiny alteration. It is a life relocation. It is the complete reversal of everything that was meant to keep you small. Heaven does not play small with those who endured large battles. Heaven repays at the scale of your suffering. Heaven compensates according to the magnitude of your calling. Michael is showing me something else now. There is a specific reason December 6th was chosen for your release. On that day, a spiritual gate opened. A gate connected to inheritance, lineage, and divine timing. You may not realize it, but something you prayed for long ago matured in the spiritual realm on that date. It had been building, forming, and gathering weight for years. December 6th was the moment it reached completion. But even with the attempted interception, your blessing has not been denied. Heaven does not revoke what it approves. Instead, Michael has pulled your blessing into a protected chamber so that you can reclaim it fully. That is why you were guided to this message. You were not drawn here by accident or curiosity. You were drawn by spiritual alignment. Your spirit recognized the frequency of your own blessing calling out to you. In a few moments, Michael will reveal something even deeper, the exact reason the thief targeted you specifically, and what this blessing will undo in your life once it lands. But pause right here and feel what is happening around your spirit. Something is settling into place. Something is being restored. Something is being reattached to your life path. And this is only the beginning. What comes next will expose the full truth behind your battle and the full magnitude of your release. Type "I reclaim what is mine" in the comments if this is resonating with your spirit. Blessing code 511 is now being released over your path. Hold steady, because the next revelation opens the sealed chamber of your blessing. Precious spirit, there is a trembling in the unseen as you step into this next revelation. Archangel Michael is drawing the veil back even further, and what he is about to expose is the very root behind the spiritual theft that targeted your December 6th release. This is not just information. This is the unraveling of a mystery that has connected to your life for far too long. Michael shows me that the thief did not simply attack randomly. It targeted you because you carry a financial mantle that has been asleep but never forgotten. There is a generational calling on your life connected to wealth, dominion, influence, and restoration. Someone in your lineage prayed for this very breakthrough, but they never lived long enough to see its manifestation. That blessing traveled through your bloodline, marked by divine intention, waiting for the one who had enough endurance to survive the battles that would shape them into a vessel trustworthy with abundance. And that vessel is you. When heaven examined your life, it saw the moments you could have turned bitter but didn't. It saw the doors slammed in your face and how you still rose again. It saw the losses that would have destroyed others but refined you. Heaven saw the purity in your spirit, not perfection, but sincerity, and it approved what your ancestors never received but always hoped for. That is the blessing that was released on December 6th. That is the inheritance the spiritual thief wanted: blood. Not just money, but legacy. Michael reveals that this thief has been trying to latch onto your life at pivotal moments ever since you were a child. Each time you stepped into a season of elevation, the thief attempted to reroute your opportunities. It tried to distort your self-worth. It tried to break your confidence. It tried to limit your vision. Because if you ever realized who you truly are, if you ever recognized the mantle you carry, you would step into a level of abundance that would break entire systems of generational lack. This is why your $1 million blessing is so heavily protected. This is why the enemy made a desperate attempt to intercept at the moment heaven approved it. You were never meant to live a life of surviving. You were meant to walk in overflow. Michael now reveals the deeper truth. This blessing was meant to break the ancient cycle of scarcity that followed the women or men in your family line. It was meant to lift the weight off your shoulders, the weight you never should have carried alone. It was meant to place you in a position where your life becomes a testimony of what happens when heaven favors someone openly. The thief knew this blessing was generational, not temporary. That is why it targeted it fiercely. But hear this clearly, its attempt has failed. Michael has severed its grip, exposed its assignment, and reclaimed the blessing that belongs to you. Right now, he is placing a shield of flaming blue light around your finances. The shield is not symbolic, it is active. Every prayer you have ever spoken, every tear you have ever cried, every moment you kept your faith alive, all of it has formed a weight behind the shield of protection. And what was once vulnerable is now fortified. Michael also shows me that your blessing is not just returning, it is expanding. When spiritual theft is exposed, heaven multiplies restitution. This is not simply restoration, it is compensation. The blessing that was approved for you is maturing, growing in value, and gathering momentum as it returns to your life. But here is the part that may shock you. The blessing was not only delayed, it was redirected. And heaven is now redirecting it back into your timeline with force. That is why you can feel something pulling at your spirit lately. That is why you sense change approaching even before it shows up physically. Your spirit already knows what your eyes have not yet seen. Michael is saying that your readiness determines your reception. You are being positioned to receive an influx that will reshape everything. Your finances, your home, your relationships, your confidence, your purpose. This blessing is not meant to just enter your life, it is meant to elevate you. And the next revelation Michael will reveal explains exactly what this blessing will activate once it touches your hands. It goes far deeper than financial relief. It unlocks spiritual authority, generational healing, and a divine assignment that has been waiting for this moment. But before we move deeper into the next revelation, pause here. You have just stepped through a spiritual doorway. Your understanding has shifted. Your spirit is awakening to the truth of who you are. And now, for the first time, the thief no longer has access to your blessing because you have stepped into awareness. Type "I break every thief" in the comments if this resonates with your spirit. Blessing code 888 is now released over your path. Before you continue, take a breath. What comes next will expand your destiny. Like this message, share it with someone who needs it, comment for engagement, and subscribe so you never miss a divine release. Every action you take strengthens the mission of spreading heavenly truth. Now stay with me. Something powerful is about to unfold. Beloved soul, as you step into this moment where heaven restores what was stolen, I want to speak something sacred to you. The message you just received is not entertainment. It is a lifeline God is using to awaken His children. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a creator. You are sowing into the very river that is carrying breakthrough to thousands of souls. The word says that those who sow into fertile ground will reap in multiplied measure, and I declare this ground is fertile because God Himself breathes on it. I feel led to tell you, this is your moment to act, not from pressure, but from alignment. When you sow, heaven marks it as a prophetic response, a step that breaks delay and opens the floodgates of divine release. Every seed is a declaration that the thief has no authority over your destiny. Step boldly. Step faithfully. Step now in obedience, for heaven honors those who move when He speaks. Chosen soul, there is a stirring in the spiritual atmosphere as we move deeper. Archangel Michael is drawing you into a revelation that will explain why your blessing carries such unusual weight, and why the enemy fought it with such aggression. What is coming next is not just information. It is the unveiling of a secret assignment tied to your life, one you may have sensed, but never fully understood. Michael now reveals that your blessing is not meant only to change your circumstances. It is designed to change your spiritual posture. You have been walking through life carrying wounds that were never yours, fears that were inherited, responsibilities that were passed down, and expectations that were silently placed on your shoulders. These things compressed your spirit, dimmed your confidence, and made you question whether you truly deserved ease, abundance, or overflow. But heaven approved your December 6th release precisely because you reached a spiritual threshold where your inner strength began to outweigh your inner battles. For years, you have been living in survival mode. You moved through days with quiet endurance. You navigated seasons where people misunderstood you, underestimated you, or misread your heart. But instead of becoming hardened or bitter, you developed a resilience that heaven saw as rare. You became the one in your lineage strong enough to break cycles and brave enough to face the warfare others ran from. This is why your blessing carries the energy of elevation. This is why it shook the spiritual realm when it was released. Your breakthrough is not a simple reward. It is a mantle you are stepping into, a mantle your ancestors could never reach. And Michael is revealing that this mantle has been waiting for you to grow into it, waiting for your spirit to mature, waiting for your discernment to sharpen. The thief sensed the moment your spiritual capacity increased. It sensed the moment your mindset shifted, the moment you no longer accepted lack as normal. And that shift made your blessing visible in the spiritual realm. When divine release aligns with spiritual readiness, blessings become radiant, and darkness always tries to dim what shines too brightly. But the thief's attempt did something unexpected. It activated Michael's intervention at a deeper level. The attack actually exposed the generational gate where scarcity once entered. And now, because it has been revealed, Michael has sealed that gate permanently. The patterns that drained your life before will not repeat. The cycles that exhausted you have been broken. The inheritance that was delayed has been reopened. Michael now shows me something powerful. Your blessing will not just restore financial stability. It will activate spiritual clarity. The fog that once clouded your decisions is lifting. The heaviness that lingered around your energy is dissolving. The confusion that made you doubt yourself is being removed. When a blessing of this magnitude approaches, it brings with it increased perception. You begin to see what was hidden. You begin to understand what was confusing. You begin to feel what was once buried. This is why over the past days or weeks, you may have felt sudden emotional shifts. One moment hopeful, one moment overwhelmed, one moment deeply introspective. It was not inconsistency, it was alignment. Your spirit was adjusting to the weight of what is coming. Large blessings require expanded capacity, and heaven has been preparing your inner world for outer transformation. Michael wants you to know something essential. This blessing will change how you move. This blessing will change what you tolerate. This blessing will change the circles you keep. This blessing will change the vision you hold. Not because money changes you, but because abundance reveals the version of you that scarcity suppressed. Scarcity made you play small. Scarcity made you fear opportunity. Scarcity made you settle for less. Scarcity made you question your worth. But your December 6th release was designed to separate you from everything that kept you trapped in that old identity. Michael reveals another deep truth. Your blessing is not coming to rescue you. It is coming to unveil you. Heaven has already deemed you ready. Heaven has already judged you capable. Heaven has already marked you as trustworthy. The thief's attempt did not weaken your blessing. It validated it. As Michael stands near you, his presence is heavy with authority. He is preparing to deliver a revelation about what this blessing will unlock in your life once it manifests physically. But before he reveals that, he is asking you to breathe, to ground yourself, to absorb the magnitude of what you have just heard. You are stepping out of an old identity and rising into the one heaven always intended for you. And now your spirit is aligning with the truth of your calling. Type "I step into my mantle" in the comments if this speaks to you. Blessing code 1707 is being poured over your path. Stay close, because what comes next will show you the assignment hidden inside your abundance. Beloved heart, as you move into this next revelation, the atmosphere around your spirit is shifting again. Archangel Michael is guiding you into the deeper meaning behind your December 6th release. Not the blessing itself, but the divine assignment attached to it. Because no blessing of this size comes without purpose. And Michael is showing that your blessing is not merely something you receive. It is something you activate. He reveals that when heaven releases large financial blessings, it is never just for comfort or convenience. It is for positioning. It is for alignment. It is for unlocking a level of influence that has been waiting dormant inside you. Your blessing carries a blueprint, a divine instruction that has been preserved in your spiritual DNA. And for the first time, heaven is ready to bring that blueprint into manifestation. Michael shows me that your spirit has always known you were meant for more. Even in your hardest seasons, even when you struggled, even when circumstances around you made you feel small, you still sensed something inside you that refused to die. There was a quiet voice that whispered, "You were born for greater. You were created for more." And that whisper was not imagination. It was prophecy. A prophecy that has finally reached maturity. The enemy tried to steal this blessing because it feared what would happen once you stepped into your true identity. It feared the ripple effect of your elevation. It feared the generational shift that would occur once you rose. Because your abundance would not benefit you alone. It would correct things in your lineage that have been broken for decades. It would break patterns of limitation. It would expose generational wounds. It would create stability where there had always been struggle. This is why darkness tried to intercept your blessing before it touched your hands. It was not simply after your money. It was after the healing, restoration, influence, and authority that your blessing would activate. It knew that once you stepped into this level of provision, you would never again be controlled by fear, lack, or desperation. And a person who is no longer controlled cannot be defeated. Michael now reveals the truth that may surprise you. The blessing you are stepping into is not only a response to your prayers, it is a response to your obedience. There were moments where you obeyed divine direction without even realizing it. You walked away from people who drained your spirit. You let go of environments that dimmed your light. You refused to shrink yourself just to be accepted. You protected your integrity even when it cost you. These small acts of obedience created spiritual openings around you. They made room for heaven to move. Your December 6th release is a reward, yes, but it is also a divine trust. Heaven placing something into your hands that matches the strength of your character. You were not chosen randomly. You were chosen intentionally, because heaven knew you would steward this blessing with wisdom, with awareness, and with compassion. Michael now shows me something like a scroll unfolding in the spirit. Written across it are words that describe the assignment attached to your blessing. Words like restoration, expansion, healing, provision, and renewal. This blessing is meant to do more than elevate your life. It is meant to elevate your identity. For years you have functioned in survival mode, but heaven is shifting you into creator mode, the realm where your decisions shape your destiny, not your circumstances. And here is where the shift becomes even deeper. Your blessing will awaken gifts inside you that were once dormant. You will begin to think differently. You will begin to see differently. You will begin to understand things that once confused you. Michael says your spirit is awakening to its original frequency, the frequency of abundance, clarity, and divine authority. You are remembering who you truly are. The thief's attempt reveals something vital. Your blessing is too powerful to stay hidden. It cannot be contained by fear. It cannot be buried by delay. It cannot be erased by spiritual interference. Michael struck the thief so violently that the blessing not only returned, it intensified. Now heaven is positioning you for activation. This means old doors will close, not to punish you, but to redirect you. People may drift away, not because they dislike you, but because they cannot follow you into this new level. Opportunities that once seemed promising may dissolve because heaven is replacing them with greater ones. You are not losing anything. You are being cleared for elevation. Michael now prepares to bring you into the revelation of what will change in your life the moment this blessing touches your reality. It is closer than you think. You can feel the pull of it. You can sense the atmosphere around your spirit expanding. Your heart knows something is coming. Your dreams have been shifting. Your intuition has been sharper. These are all signs of arrival. Before stepping deeper, pause and let this truth sink in. The blessing trying to reach you is a key. And once you receive it, nothing in your life will remain the same. You are stepping out of limitation and into divine identity. You are stepping out of survival and into destiny. And heaven has waited a long time for this moment. Type "I am being positioned" in the comments if your spirit feels this alignment. Blessing code 2299 is now opening around you. Hold steady, for what comes next will reveal how your entire life will transform once your blessing arrives. Beloved one, as we step forward, the air around your spirit is thick with revelation. Archangel Michael is guiding you into understanding what will happen the moment your December 6th blessing fully enters your physical reality. You have learned why the thief targeted you, why the release was approved, and why your spirit has been shifting. But now Michael is revealing what this blessing will do once it arrives. And this part is where everything begins to make sense. Michael is showing me a vision of your life, like a map. There are areas marked by stress, areas marked by delay, areas marked by confusion, and areas marked by exhaustion. These areas have been weighing on you far more than you've admitted to anyone. You have been carrying silent burdens, financial decisions that felt heavy, responsibilities that drained you, dreams you put on pause because life demanded too much from you. But this blessing is not coming to help you from the outside. It is coming to reset your life from the inside. The first thing your blessing activates is clarity. This clarity is not the kind that brings simple insight. It brings direction. Financial pressure has a way of clouding vision, making you settle for survival instead of purpose. But once the blessing touches your hands, the fog around your decisions will lift. You will suddenly know where to go, what to do, which opportunities to accept, and which paths to walk away from. Michael says that abundance sharpens intuition because your mind is no longer trapped in fear. The second transformation is stability. You have lived with instability for far too long. Unpredictable seasons, unexpected expenses, sudden shifts, disappointments that came without warning. These things conditioned your nervous system to be alert, cautious, and guarded. But your blessing is going to settle your spirit. It will give you the freedom to exhale without fear that something will collapse the moment you relax. Michael says your blessing is not just financial. It is emotional repair. The third transformation is expansion. Once your blessing activates, Doors you once knocked on will begin to open on their own. People who overlooked you will begin to notice you. Opportunities that were once out of reach will suddenly feel accessible. You will no longer chase things. Things will begin to align themselves around your presence. This is what happens when heaven elevates someone. The external world rearranges itself to match the new spiritual rank. Michael is also revealing that this blessing comes with protection. You will not have to fear losing it. You will not have to fear sabotage. You will not have to fear the thief returning. What was exposed cannot regain access. What was broken cannot be rebuilt. What was cut off cannot reconnect. Michael's sword has severed every attachment that once tried to drain your destiny. And this time, your blessing arrives shielded, reinforced, and wrapped in divine fire. Another powerful change your blessing brings is identity restoration. Scarcity has a way of shrinking a person's self-worth, making them underestimate their potential. But abundance reveals the truth that you were always capable, always called, always chosen. This blessing will cause you to see yourself differently. You will walk differently, think differently, speak differently, decide differently. Not because of arrogance, but because of alignment. You will finally match the frequency heaven has always seen in you. Michael is showing me that this blessing will also repair relationships, not all, but the ones divinely aligned with your future. There are people meant to walk with you into your next season, but they could not show up earlier because the timing wasn't right. When your blessing arrives, these connections will come into harmony. People who support your growth will move closer, while those whose energy conflicts with your destiny will quietly fade. Your blessing is also a filter. It removes what cannot stay and attracts what must enter. But perhaps the most profound transformation your blessing brings is this. It awakens your divine assignment. Your life is not meant to be ordinary. You were not sent here to merely survive. You carry a calling that requires resources, time, stability, and spiritual clarity. The enemy tried to steal your blessing because it knew your assignment would ignite once you stepped into abundance. But now that the truth has been exposed, nothing can stop the alignment that is unfolding around you. Michael wants you to know this. You are stepping into a season where miracles will feel normal, where answered prayers will arrive back to back, where everything that once confused you will suddenly make sense, where the pressure that once crushed you will become the testimony that elevates you. This is the life waiting on the other side of your December 6th release. And Michael is preparing to reveal something even deeper next, the spiritual reason heaven chose you for this level of breakthrough, and what your future will look like once the blessing has fully matured. But pause here for a moment. Feel what is happening in your spirit. Something is settling. Something is activating. Something is awakening. Type "I am ready for my transformation" in the comments if this resonates with your spirit. Blessing code 4411 is now being set over your timeline. Stay with me. What comes next will reveal why heaven has chosen you for this mantle. Beloved soul, as we move forward, the spiritual atmosphere around you is becoming heavier with truth, almost as if the unseen world is leaning in to listen. Archangel Michael is opening the next layer of revelation, and this part is deeply personal. It explains why you were chosen to carry a blessing of such magnitude. Because heaven does not release million-dollar mantles randomly. They are assigned. They are measured. They are given to those whose spirit has been refined through battles that others never even saw. Michael shows me a vision of your heart as it has moved through your life, a heart that has endured heartbreak, disappointment, betrayal, and pressure, yet somehow refused to turn. Heaven observes that. Heaven counted that. Heaven weighed that. You may not realize it, but your compassion has survived storms that would have hardened most people. Your empathy remained intact even when your life was being torn apart. And heaven sees that as rare. Heaven sees that as worthy. This is why you were chosen. Not because you were perfect, but because you remained pure. Not because you had everything figured out, but because your spirit stayed open. Not because you had everything you needed, but because you kept believing even when everything seemed lost. Michael says your blessing is not a reward for success. It is recognition of endurance. There were seasons where you had nothing but your faith. There were nights where you cried quietly, not because you were weak, but because you were tired of carrying burdens alone. There were moments where you felt invisible, moments where you felt unseen, moments where you wondered if your prayers even mattered. But heaven heard every single one. Not one tear was wasted. Not one silent prayer was ignored. Every moment of pressure became the foundation of your blessing. You were chosen because heaven trusts you. Heaven trusts your generosity. Heaven trusts your heart. Heaven trusts that you will not misuse the blessing. Heaven trusts that you will not lose yourself in abundance. Heaven trusts that you will rise, not collapse. Michael now reveals something that has been building around your life for years. You carry a mantle of leadership, even if you've never called yourself a leader. People have been drawn to you naturally. People look to you for strength, guidance, understanding, or comfort. Even when your own life felt chaotic, you still managed to uplift others. This shows heaven the kind of steward you are. You give even in scarcity, and that is why abundance is being poured into your hands. You were also chosen because you broke cycles without even noticing. There were patterns in your family, patterns of fear, patterns of silence, patterns of financial struggle, patterns of emotional suppression, and you confronted them by simply refusing to live the same way. You questioned what others accepted. You challenged what others normalized. You believed in possibilities that no one around you could see. This made heaven take notice, because cycle breakers threaten darkness. And the enemy tried to stop you long before you ever understood your calling. Michael shows me that the enemy recognized your potential before you did. That is why you faced resistance so early in life. That is why you encountered attacks without explanation. That is why people misunderstood you, mocked you, or dismissed you. Darkness was not attacking who you were. It was attacking who you would become. It saw the mantle. It sensed the glory. It feared the future. But it could not stop your destiny, because heaven had already placed its seal upon you. Your blessing is arriving now, because you have passed the spiritual tests that once blocked your ancestors. You have matured in your patience. You have learned to hear the quiet voice within you. You have learned to rise after disappointments that would have ended others. This blessing is not just for survival. It is your graduation into divine purpose. Michael is revealing something profound about your character. You do not give up easily. You do not walk away easily. You do not abandon the people you love. You do not betray your own values. You do not turn away from truth even when it hurts. This kind of spirit is extremely rare, and heaven only places million-dollar mantles on souls who have proven, through fire and suffering, that they can carry them without being corrupted. Another reason you were chosen is because heaven needs someone in your bloodline to carry abundance with wisdom. Your family has known struggle, but struggle is not your inheritance. You were chosen to reverse the flow. You were chosen to rewrite the narrative. You were chosen to restore what was lost, what was stolen, and what was forgotten. You are the turning point. You are the shift. You are the answer to prayers your ancestors whispered but never saw fulfilled. And now Michael is preparing to reveal what your life will begin to look like when heaven's blessing starts manifesting in stages. Not only will your life transform, but people connected to you, directly or indirectly, will also rise. You are a carrier of generational elevation, and heaven is about to prove it. But pause for a moment. Let this truth settle into your spirit. You were not chosen because you asked. You were chosen because you endured. Type "I embrace my calling" in the comments if this resonates with your spirit. Blessing code 9090 is being placed upon your life now. Stay close, because what comes next will reveal the first signs that your blessing is already entering your reality. Radiant soul, as we step into this next sacred unfolding, Archangel Michael is showing me something powerful. The first signs that your December 6th blessing is already moving into your physical reality. You may not have recognized these signs at first, because heaven often enters quietly before it manifests loudly. But now, Michael is pulling back the curtain and revealing the clues that your blessing has already been released into motion. This is where the spiritual shifts begin to leak into the natural world. Michael begins by showing me the subtle emotional shifts you felt lately. He says that your spirit has been experiencing sudden waves of clarity, moments where you feel an unexplainable hope rise inside you, even on difficult days. These aren't random feelings. They're signals. They're spiritual tremors. When your blessing starts approaching your life, your spirit senses the arrival before your eyes see it. Heaven always whispers before it reveals. That whisper you've been feeling is your future calling you forward. Another sign Michael reveals is the sudden closing of old doors. You may have noticed conversations ending abruptly, friendships becoming distant, opportunities dissolving, or situations shifting without warning. This isn't loss. This isn't rejection. This is alignment. When abundance is approaching, heaven removes anything that cannot carry the vibration of your next level. You are not being abandoned. You are being prepared. Michael says heaven is clearing your path, so nothing interferes with your blessing the way the thief tried to before. A third sign is the discomfort you've been feeling in familiar places. Maybe routines feel too small now. Maybe old environments feel restrictive. Maybe you've been sensing that you can no longer pretend to fit where your spirit has already outgrown. This is not frustration, it is rebirth. Your spirit is expanding ahead of your circumstances, and your circumstances are now being forced to catch up. This is a precursor to elevation. Michael says discomfort is the soul's announcement that breakthrough is near. Michael also shows that your dreams may have shifted recently. You might be dreaming more vividly, receiving symbols, seeing movement, water, doors, light, or even feeling the presence of angels. These dreams are not illusions. They are messages. They are previews. When a blessing approaches, heaven communicates through the subconscious because your spirit is most open when your mind is still. Michael has been trying to reach you at night because he knows your heart listens more deeply in silence. Another sign that your blessing is entering your life is the sudden resurfacing of old ideas, forgotten talents, or abandoned dreams. Projects you once pushed aside are calling to you again. Skills you ignored are resurfacing. Desires you buried are rising. This is not nostalgia, it is activation. Your blessing requires a version of you that remembers who you truly are. Michael says your inner gifts are waking up because your new season requires them. There is also a change happening in your emotions. You may have noticed you're becoming more decisive, more intuitive, more selective, more self-aware. You no longer tolerate the things you once tolerated. You no longer fear the things you once feared. You no longer feel obligated to stay small. That shift is not personality change. It is spiritual elevation. When heaven releases a blessing of this magnitude, Your inner world transforms first so your outer world can follow. Michael is also showing me something powerful happening around your finances. There may have been small breakthroughs, unexpected support, overdue payments arriving, new opportunities appearing, or ideas that suddenly feel profitable. These are not coincidences. These are the first droplets of the rainstorm preparing to fall over your life. The blessing that was delayed is now beginning to press through the veil into your reality. Michael says the interception has been reversed, and the blessing has regained momentum. Another confirmation is your increased sensitivity. You feel things faster. You sense energy shifts quickly. You pick up on intentions more accurately. You can feel when someone's words don't match their spirit. This is spiritual sharpening, a sign that heaven is preparing you to steward your blessing with awareness, not naivety. Michael says clarity is part of your protection. He is refining your discernment so you can guard what is coming. And perhaps one of the greatest signs, you've been feeling a quiet confidence rising inside of you. Not loud confidence, not forced confidence, but a deep inner knowing that something big is coming. You can't explain it logically, but your spirit recognizes the frequency of what belongs to you. This feeling is heaven's confirmation. It is the echo of your blessing vibrating near your timeline. Michael now prepares to reveal what will happen when this blessing finally lands. Not just spiritually, but physically. He will show the first manifestation shifts, the first changes in your environment, and the areas of your life that will transform first. But before we move into that revelation, allow your spirit to absorb this truth. Your blessing is no longer approaching, it is arriving. Type "my signs are confirmation" in the comments if this resonates with your spirit. Blessing code 5533 is flowing toward you now. Before we move ahead, like this message, share it so others don't miss their own signs. Comment to stay engaged, and subscribe so every divine message reaches you without delay. Your engagement strengthens the spiritual mission. Beloved, you are stepping into a moment where heaven is aligning your path with breakthrough. And as this message pours into your life, I want to speak to your spirit with reverence. What you just received is part of a calling, not only to rise, but to help others rise. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you become a carrier of light, helping God's voice reach those who feel forgotten. The word declares that those who sow into living waters reap a harvest that never runs dry, and this space is one of those waters. I feel led to tell you directly, this is your invitation. I am calling you to move with heaven. Your seed becomes a prophetic act, breaking delay and opening divine flow over your own life. Let your giving be a declaration that your blessing cannot be stolen, silenced, or stopped. Step into it boldly, for heaven honors obedience spoken from the heart. Beloved spirit, as we step deeper into this unfolding, Archangel Michael is revealing what will physically begin to shift in your life as your December 6th blessing moves from the spiritual realm into the material world. Up until now, much of what you felt has been internal, energetic, emotional, intuitive. But what is coming next will be visible, undeniable, and impossible to ignore. This part of the revelation marks the moment where heaven's promise begins to manifest in tangible form. Michael begins by showing me the first physical transformation. Your environment will begin to shift unexpectedly. You may notice changes happening in your home, your workspace, or the spaces you frequent. Things that once felt stagnant will suddenly feel uncomfortable. Objects you had forgotten about may resurface. You might feel an urge to clean, reorganize, remove clutter, or change the layout of your environment. This is not random behavior. This is your spirit preparing room for what is coming. Heaven never places a large blessing in a crowded space. Michael says your spirit is creating a container for your new reality. Another physical manifestation is tied to communication. You will begin receiving unexpected messages, calls, opportunities, or invitations. People from your past may reach out. Not all are meant to re-enter your life, but their sudden reappearance is confirmation that your energy has shifted. You are no longer operating in the frequency of delay. You are operating in the frequency of elevation. Michael says some of these messages are divine connections returning, while others are spiritual tests to ensure you do not return to cycles that once drained you. A third sign is an increase in movement. You may notice your schedule filling up, even in small ways. You may find yourself being more productive than usual, more motivated, more focused, more energized. This is because your blessing carries momentum. When something large is approaching, your spirit starts accelerating to match its pace. You'll feel a pull toward progress even on days when you don't feel fully prepared. This is heaven lifting you into divine timing. Michael also reveals that your body will begin responding physiologically. You may feel chills, warmth in the chest, sudden bursts of energy, or moments of pressure lifting from your shoulders. This is because abundance has a physical frequency, and your body is aligning with it. The tension that once held you down is loosening. The stress that once clouded your vision is dissolving. Your nervous system is adjusting to a future where it no longer has to brace for impact. Michael says your body is preparing for peace. Your financial atmosphere will also begin to change. Small blessings will begin appearing: discounts, refunds, unexpected support, opportunities to earn, or money finding its way back to you in surprising ways. These moments are not coincidences. They are leaks from a spiritual floodgate that is opening. Before a major blessing arrives, heaven often sends small confirmations to prepare your spirit to receive the larger promise without fear. Michael says these financial drips are previews of the abundance being redirected to your life. Another physical change will appear in your relationships. People who are aligned with your elevation will suddenly feel more connected to you. Conversations will feel deeper. Support will appear unexpectedly. At the same time, individuals who do not match your new frequency may distance themselves or show their true intentions. This separation is not punishment, it is protection. Your blessing requires an environment that honors your growth. Michael is clearing the relational field around you so that nothing and no one blocks what is coming. Something else Michael reveals: you will start experiencing divine timing in small ways. You will arrive at the right place at the right moment. You will overhear conversations that carry messages meant for you. You will see signs, numbers, or patterns that feel unusually directed toward your path. Heaven will begin sending guidance through synchronicities because your spirit is now aligned enough to receive them. These signs are spiritual markers, reminders that your blessing is inching closer. Another physical manifestation is a shift in your energy. You will begin feeling more connected to your purpose, even if you cannot fully articulate it yet. You may wake up with a renewed sense of direction. You may feel drawn toward new interests, new environments, or new ideas. This is because your spirit is stepping out of survival mode and into destiny mode. Michael says your energy will start attracting resources, people, conversations, and opportunities that match the life heaven has prepared for you. And perhaps one of the most powerful manifestations is the quiet confidence rising inside of you. Not loud, not boastful, not forced, but steady, anchored, certain. This confidence is not ego. It is spiritual memory. Your soul recognizes the reality it is about to enter. Your future is calling you forward with clarity and authority. Michael says this confidence is the frequency of answered prayers. Now, Michael prepares to reveal something even more profound in the next revelation. The exact areas of your life that will transform first once the full blessing lands, and the sequence in which heaven will begin unfolding your elevation. It will be specific. It will be clear. And it will confirm what your spirit has been sensing. But pause for a moment. Feel the truth settling inside you. Your blessing is no longer a prophecy. It is already moving. Type "I see" the signs in the comments if this resonates with your spirit. Blessing code 7771 is now aligning with your path. Stay close. What comes next will reveal the order of your breakthrough. Beloved soul of purpose, as we walk further into this revelation, Archangel Michael is opening a powerful vision, one that reveals the sequence in which your life will transform once your December 6th blessing fully arrives. Heaven is not chaotic. Heaven is organized. Heaven moves in a pattern, and your blessing will unfold in a divine order, so precise that once it begins, you will look back and realize every delay, every shift, every redirection had purpose. Michael begins by revealing the first area of transformation, your inner world. Before the blessing touches your bank account, before it touches your environment, before it touches your relationships, it will first touch your identity. You will begin to feel an unshakable inner peace, a peace not based on circumstances, but on alignment. Your thoughts will become clearer, your confidence stronger, your intuition sharper. You will stop second-guessing yourself. You will stop apologizing for your worth. You will stop shrinking your dreams. This inner transformation is the anchoring stage. Heaven stabilizes your spirit before it elevates your life. Michael says the blessing enters you before it enters your hands. The second transformation will appear in your financial atmosphere. Not the blessing itself yet, but the clearing of blockages around it. You will notice overdue payments finally releasing, unexpected money appearing, debts being resolved, or financial opportunities resurfacing that once disappeared. This is heaven cleaning the landing strip. It is preparation. It is organization. It is Michael removing spiritual debris so the full blessing can arrive without resistance. Do not underestimate these small shifts. They are the cracks in the ceiling that show the glory is near. The third stage of manifestation will move into your environment. Suddenly, you will be drawn to renew your surroundings, whether through cleaning, redecorating, reorganizing, or even relocating. Your space will begin to reflect your rising spirit. You will feel an inner push to let go of old items, old memories, old energies that no longer match your frequency. This is heaven saying, make room. A blessing of this size cannot enter an atmosphere that still holds memories of struggle. Michael says your environment must elevate before your reality does. The fourth transformation will touch your relationships. This is where the greatest clarity enters. People aligned with your next level will draw closer to you. Conversations will deepen. Support will appear unexpectedly. At the same time, individuals who drain your energy, cloud your spirit, or interrupt your growth will begin to fade. Some will exit silently, others will show their true intentions, and a few may fall away through divine separation. This is not rejection. It is refinement. Heaven is creating a circle around you that can sustain your blessing, not sabotage it. The fifth stage of manifestation will appear in your opportunities. Doors that were once locked will unlock. Paths that once felt impossible will open. The things you once struggled to access will now flow toward you with ease. Opportunities will seek you out, not the other way around. This is the stage where heaven begins showcasing your elevation to the world around you. Michael says this season will feel like divine momentum, one breakthrough leading to another, each one connected to your blessing's arrival. The sixth transformation will touch your mindset toward wealth. You will no longer fear abundance. You will no longer feel unworthy of success. You will no longer sabotage opportunities. You will no longer minimize your potential. Instead, you will begin thinking like the version of you who was always meant to walk in overflow. Scarcity taught you to shrink. Abundance will teach you to expand. Michael says this shift in mindset is vital because you cannot receive $1 million blessing with a survival mentality. Heaven will enlarge your mindset before it enlarges your territory. And then comes the seventh stage, the moment your blessing physically arrives. This arrival may look like a financial opportunity of magnitude. It may look like unexpected approval. It may look like a settlement, an inheritance, a divine connection, a door you never imagined opening. It may even appear through multiple sources at once. But when it lands, you will know instantly. There will be no confusion, no uncertainty, no second guessing. The blessing will carry a presence. It will carry clarity. It will carry authority. And it will arrive with such force that you will feel the shift not only in your spirit, but in your physical environment. Michael reveals something important. The blessing will not arrive as a single moment. It will arrive in waves, each wave larger than the last. The December 6th release was the approval. The attempted interception was the resistance. But the reclaiming was the acceleration. Now the blessing is unfolding in stages so that when it fully lands, it builds a future that lasts. Finally, the eighth stage is your public elevation. This is where your life becomes a testimony, where your transformation becomes visible, where people who once doubted you will begin to see the glow around your life. Not because you are showing off, but because heaven is showcasing what happens to someone who survives the storm and stays faithful through the process. Michael says your elevation will speak louder than any explanation ever could. But pause here. Let your spirit absorb this. Your breakthrough will not be chaotic. Your blessing will not be confusing. Your elevation will not be unstable. Heaven has already written the order, and you are now stepping into it. Type "I align with divine order" in the comments if this resonates with your spirit. Blessing code 4044 is being placed gently over your timeline. Stay with me. What comes next will reveal the spiritual protection that will surround your blessing once it arrives. He loves soul walking into destiny. As we enter this next revelation, the atmosphere around your spirit becomes fortified. Archangel Michael is preparing to show you the layer of protection that heaven will place around your blessing the moment it fully manifests. Because heaven does not release $1 million destiny without surrounding it with supernatural defense. What is coming to you is too valuable, too transformative, too generational for heaven to leave unguarded. And Michael wants you to understand exactly how this protection works, so you step into your blessing with confidence, not fear. Michael begins by showing me a vision of your blessing as a radiant sphere of golden light, descending through the spiritual realms toward your life. Around it stands a ring of blue fire, the fire of divine justice, the fire of angelic authority, the fire of protection that cannot be breached. This fire is not symbolic. It is active. It is alive. It is the force that prevented the thief from stealing your blessing completely. And now, heaven is strengthening that fire, so no interference can touch your promise ever again. The first layer of protection that Michael places around your blessing is spiritual insulation. This insulation shields your blessing from envy, from sabotage, from spiritual interference, and from energies that do not align with your destiny. It prevents outside forces from manipulating your path. It prevents the enemy from accessing your mental clarity. It prevents old wounds from reopening. This insulation is already forming around your spirit, which is why you may have noticed yourself becoming more selective, more intuitive, more aware of the intentions of people around you. Heaven is sharpening your discernment because discernment is a form of armor. The second layer of protection is delay resistance. Because the blessing was once intercepted, heaven has now removed the spiritual loopholes the enemy used. This means the patterns that once caused delays, emotional cycles, fear patterns, energy drains, distractions, or old attachments have been spiritually disabled. You may notice that things which used to derail you no longer have the same effect. Situations that once triggered you now feel distant. Thoughts that once overwhelmed now dissolve quickly. This is heaven sealing the gap the thief once exploited. The third protective shield is angelic reinforcement. Michael is not guarding your blessing alone. He is overseeing an entire battalion of warrior angels assigned specifically to your elevation. These angels surround your blessing like sentinels. They cover your home. They cover your finances. They cover your decisions. They cover your relationships. They cover every doorway that opens in your next season. They are assigned to ensure that everything connected to your blessing remains intact, stable, and secure. Their presence is the reason certain people suddenly exited your life. Not everyone could access the atmosphere of your elevation. The fourth layer is identity protection. Heaven is guarding the version of you that is emerging. You are becoming someone different. Someone bolder, wiser, calmer, and more aligned. The enemy cannot attack your blessing directly anymore, so it will attempt to attack your sense of self. That is why your identity is being shielded with spiritual clarity. You will begin recognizing lies quickly. You will no longer fall into old insecurities. You will not be manipulated by old patterns. Heaven is protecting your identity because your identity is the gateway through which your blessing flows. The fifth protective covering is divine timing. Your blessing will not arrive early where it can be mishandled, nor late where it can be doubted. It will arrive at the exact moment your spirit is ready, your environment is aligned, your mind is open, and your path is clear. This is why certain things haven't happened yet. They are not being blocked. They are being perfected. Heaven is synchronizing your steps with your blessings so the two collide at the precise moment you can sustain the magnitude of what is coming. The sixth shield is financial protection. Michael is placing spiritual security over your future resources. Unlike past seasons, where money came and went quickly, your blessing will be guarded. Heaven will remove the pull of impulsive decisions, the influence of draining connections, and the weight of financial confusion. You will begin noticing new wisdom rising within you. Wisdom with spending, wisdom with giving, wisdom with planning. This wisdom is part of the protection. It ensures that what enters your hands remains fruitful. The seventh layer of protection is purpose alignment. Your blessing has a mission attached to it. It is meant to support your calling, empower your next steps, elevate your environment, and shift your lineage. Heaven protects blessings with purpose more fiercely than blessings tied to comfort. Because purpose-driven blessings change the world around you. Michael is guarding the path that your blessing will activate. The ideas you will pursue, the opportunities that will expand your influence, the people you will help, and the healing that will flow from your elevation. And the final protective covering is sealing the past. Michael shows me a vision of the past closing like a locked chamber, Not erased, but sealed so it no longer drains your energy or delays your destiny. Old battles will not return. Old patterns cannot reattach. Old thieves cannot re-enter. You are stepping into a season where the past no longer has power over the future heaven is building for you. Now Michael prepares to reveal something monumental next, the ultimate purpose behind your blessing, the deeper divine reason heaven approved this breakthrough, and what your future will look like when this blessing matures fully. This is where destiny becomes clear. But pause here. Feel the protection around you. Feel the covering. Feel the truth settling into your bones. Type "I am divinely protected" in the comments if this speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 7001 is now sealing itself over your blessing. Stay close. What comes next will reveal the true mission behind your elevation. Beloved vessel of divine purpose, as we enter this final revelation, Archangel Michael steps forward with a presence so powerful, so steady, so filled with heavenly authority that the atmosphere around your spirit begins to glow. This is the moment where everything comes together. The approval, the interception, the protection, the restoration, the signs, the sequence, the elevation. Now Michael will reveal the ultimate purpose behind your December 6th blessing. Because heaven never pours a blessing of this magnitude into a life without assigning it a mission. Michael begins by showing me a vision of your future. Not the near future, but the elevated version of you that already exists in the spiritual realm. This version of you stands strong, grounded, confident, clear, and deeply aligned with divine assignment. This version of you carries something far greater than money. This version carries influence, impact, clarity, and calling. Michael says the blessing released to you is not about wealth. It is about who you become once wealth frees you from survival. Heaven has watched you live through seasons where survival overshadowed purpose. Seasons where you had dreams, but no stability. Seasons where you had vision, but no resources. Seasons where you had passion, but no support. Seasons where you had potential, but were surrounded by limitation. Heaven saw your purpose, being suppressed by circumstances that were never meant to define you. And your December 6th financial release is not simply a breakthrough. It is divine correction. Heaven is restoring what struggle stole from your identity. Michael reveals that the blessing is meant to launch you into your life's divine assignment. For some, this assignment is connected to creative expression. For some, it is connected to leadership. For some, it is connected to healing. For some, it is connected to building. For some, it is connected to generational restoration. For you, it is connected to elevation that influences others, whether directly or indirectly. Your blessing will not make you selfish. It will make you impactful. It will not isolate you. It will position you. It will not change your heart. It will amplify it. The enemy tried to intercept this blessing because it feared the ripple effect your elevation would create. It feared the light you would ignite in others. It feared the healing your influence would bring to your family line. It feared the doors you would open for people who have been praying silently for help. The thief was not after the money. It was after the mission attached to the money. But heaven has already ruled in your favor. Your blessing carries heaven's seal, Michael's protection, and divine timing's momentum. And now it carries purpose. Michael now reveals the deeper truth. Your blessing is meant to correct what went wrong in your bloodline. You will be the one who brings stability where there was chaos. You will be the one who brings clarity where there was confusion. You will be the one who brings abundance where there was imbalance. You will be the one who breaks the generational curse of scarcity, fear, and limitation. You were chosen, because you have the spiritual strength to hold what others could not carry. Your blessing will also awaken dormant gifts. Gifts you set aside because life demanded too much of you. Gifts you doubted because you lacked support. Gifts that once flickered inside you, but were weighed down by responsibility. Once abundance enters your life, these gifts will rise like fire. Your creativity will return. Your dreams will revive. Your ideas will flow with clarity. Your spirit will expand into the version of yourself that survival forced into hiding. Michael shows me another truth. Your elevation will be a sign to others. Not because you will boast, but because your transformation will be undeniable. People will see your glow. They will feel the strength returning to your voice. They will sense the confidence rising in your energy. And some will come to you seeking guidance, healing, clarity, or inspiration. Heaven will use your elevation as a lighthouse. This is why your blessing was protected so fiercely. This is why the thief was stopped so violently. This is why heaven rearranged your life so intentionally. Your future requires resources. Your calling requires stability. Your destiny requires clarity. And heaven is now giving you everything life once withheld from you. Michael speaks one final message over your spirit. Stand tall. You are stepping into the future heaven wrote for you. The blessing is not coming, it is here. Walk forward with authority, for the thief has been defeated and your destiny is unfolding. Pause and receive that. You are stepping into alignment. You are stepping into purpose. You are stepping into overflow. And heaven is walking with you now. Type "I step into my divine future" in the comments if your spirit receives this final revelation. Blessing code 10,000 is sealed over your destiny. Before you move forward, lift your spirit for a moment. The journey has reached its culmination, and what comes next is the manifestation. Like this message, comment your affirmation, share this with someone who needs clarity, and subscribe so you remain aligned with future revelations that heaven has prepared for you. Beloved soul, as you receive this final revelation, hear this with the full weight of heaven behind it. What you have just walked through is not simply a message. It is a mantle, a spiritual alignment that thousands around the world are yearning for but have not yet found. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are stepping into the flow of a divine movement. The word declares that those who sow into the work of light become partakers of the same grace, and today that grace is resting on you. I feel led to speak directly to your heart. I am calling you to stand with this mission as heaven expands it. Let your support be your prophetic act, a declaration that you are aligned, awakened, and walking into your divine future. Blessings chase those who act when God stirs their spirit. Move with boldness and step into the river of overflow that heaven has opened before you.